seeing. We can wait a minute or two, and then we can get started. Oh, I see someone with Heather's name in the audience.
Yep, I'm promoting her.
Okay.
I hope it's her.
We've been lucky so far, knock on wood. All right, that looks like everyone we were expecting. So are we on YouTube or? Okay.
There you go.
All right, I call to order the meeting, the Verona Common Council, the special meeting of the Verona Common Council for Wednesday, December 9th at 7:03 p.m. We'll begin with the roll.
Alderperson Journey?
Here.
Alderperson Ryan?
Here.
Alderperson Cronin?
Present.
Alderperson Kemp?
Here.
Alderperson Cole?
Here.
Alderperson Posey?
Here.
Alderperson Reekie?
Here.
And Alderperson Touche is absent and excused.
Excellent. We have quorum. Next, we'll move on to item 3, which is public comment. Do we have any registered speakers, Mr. Sayer?
I have one. I have Sean O'Brien.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to say, thank you so much for taking the time, especially right before the holidays, to meet in a special session to consider our proposed changes to the Classic and Old National Bank development. I know that a lot of you had the opportunity to hear about the changes either at one of the 2 neighborhood meetings that we held in November. For those who were not able to make it, it was a beautiful day in November, and we had the opportunity to meet outside safely during COVID. So it was really nice, and I got a chance to meet a lot of the neighbors that live right behind the proposed project, and share a bunch of information. And I thought it went really well. The reason why we have asked to have the proposal viewed during a special session, the reason why you're all here tonight is due to the WHEDA tax credit deadline. We are proposing affordable housing at the project, and in order to continue to move the project forward and get the critical financing, or have an opportunity to get the critical financing needed to move this project forward, we need to turn in our WHEDA application on Friday. So I am here in the audience to answer any questions. And then once again, I just wanted to say, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Any other speakers?
So that was it.
All right. We'll move on to item 4, which is committee reports. First up, we have 4A Plan Commission. Alder Cole.
Thank you. Right. I am making a motion to approve resolution number R-20-049, approving a general development plan for planned unit development that would allow for the construction of a 3-story, 63-unit apartment building with 4,978 square feet of commercial space located at 410 and 420 West Verona Avenue.
Motion by Alder Cole. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Cronin, I think. Alder Cole.
Thank you. The Plan Commission held the required public hearing on December 7th, 2020. Public comments included support for this type of land use, support for the reduction of height, support for the total amount of units, concerns regarding traffic on Rita Avenue, the impact of traffic to the existing neighborhood, concerns with on-street parking and traffic flow, concerns that impacts to the western neighbors are not taken into account as were with the northern neighbors, and there was a suggestion to split the building into 2 separate buildings containing commercial and the apartment units. Comments from the Plan Commission included support for the decrease in height, compliments regarding the building design and how the brick mimics the brick at New Century School across West Verona Avenue, support for the density, encouragement to see the addition of the playground area, questions regarding future improvements and impacts to West Verona Avenue, Rita Avenue, and access to the property, questions as to what can be done for traffic calming if there is a problem in the future, and compliments to the applicant for making modifications due to previous Plan Commission comments. The Plan Commission voted 7-0 to approve the general development plan for 410 and 420 West Verona Avenue with the following conditions. Number 1, exemption shall be granted for the following. Parking will be reduced to 1 underground parking space per unit. Number 2, the approval shall be for a 3-story, 63-unit apartment building with 4,978 square feet of commercial space. The approval shall become effective upon North Point Development Corporation acquiring the property.
And the conditions and exemptions were part of your motion, just to be clear.
That is correct.
Excellent. And that was the understanding of the second Alder Cronin? Excellent. Seeing nods as well. Thank you for that explanation. Motion before the body. Questions or comments on the motion? Alder Cronin.
I would just like to say that I am really pleased to see a developer who was willing to make modifications, to listen to feedback, not only from the city and the Plan Commission, but from the neighbors. And I really do think that this is going to be a good addition to West Verona Avenue. I'm especially pleased at the opportunity to have workforce housing in Verona, and that modifications were made to allow for green space, including the playground for kids. So I'm very much in support of this.
Alder Kemp and then Alder Journey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to echo Alder Cronin's comments as well. I really do appreciate that this developer took the necessary time and really put the effort into not only listening to the suggestions of the people that have lived in that area, particularly the residents on Rita Street for decades, but also took the time to meet with them, quite frankly, in a time when very few people should be face to face, right? They actually took the extra, put in the extra effort to go and talk to people and hear their concerns, which to me shows the sign of someone that actually passionately cares about the residents here, and lends to the idea or the notion that they're going to be a good developer to work with. At this point, I'm willing to vote in favor of this project. I think they did a good job, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Alder Journey.
So I also agree with Alder Kemp and Alder Cronin, and I think the developer took special care in terms of addressing the issues. Also, they're going to save the oak tree on the corner end of the lot, and I think that should be acknowledged. Thank you.
Other questions or comments on this project? Or motion, I should say. I'll call on myself quick. Yeah, I do appreciate the developer working with the neighbors and, you know, coming back after they probably got an answer that they didn't want from the council, but I think development is an ongoing process, and I think it's good when everyone works together. I think, you know, I totally hear the neighbors' concerns about traffic and about potentially privacy with the fencing, and I think the fencing stuff can be worked out in the EIP, the precise implementation plan, and the traffic stuff I think is just going to be ongoing because there's a lot of stuff targeted towards Verona Avenue as we kind of expand our downtown in that direction. So I think, you know, we should all be kind of alert to potential traffic issues and keep an open mind and be creative about potentially ways to keep traffic on Verona Avenue around the commercial development and out of the residential neighborhoods. And that's win-win for everyone. Businesses want traffic, residents don't. It seems, you know, obvious what we want people to do. But anyway, motion before Alder Ricky.
Yeah, since I voted no on this originally, I feel like I should probably comment again, because I did say that at that time that I would like the developer to listen to the concerns of the neighbors, and they've done that for the most part. I am sad about the green space being eliminated on the rooftop, but I'm glad they're still going to have solar panels, and I'm glad that they listen to the neighbors, and I think the traffic issues and parking issues will hopefully work themselves out and will go we'll problem solve as we go with regarding that. And I plan to vote yes this time.
Other questions or comments on the motion? Seeing no further hands, all those in favor of resolution number R-20-049, approving a general development plan, a GDP for a plan unit development, PUD, that would allow for the construction of a 3-story, 63-unit apartment building with 4,978 square feet of commercial space located at 410 and 420 West Roan Avenue, with the exemptions and conditions specified in the packet, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, no? And that motion passes. Next, we will move on to, anything further from Plan Commission, Alder Cole?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 5, old business. First up, since we have 2 closed sessions, can we, Mr. Sayer, talk about these in open session for whatever people want to talk about? Although I would advise not to say anything for item 6. And then move into closed session with 2 separate motions. Does that work?
I think for the first item, for the resolution addressing the tax increment financing and real estate purchase agreement, sale agreement, I think that's something that I'm not sure if we need to go to a closed session on.
Okay.
I'd probably take that one first and see if there's a need to go into closed session.
Excellent. Yeah, if we can do it all in open session, I think that's preferable. So we'll move on to 5A, which is a discussion and possible action regarding resolution number R-20-050, addressing tax incremental financing and real estate purchase and sale agreement for the redevelopment of Sugar Creek / New Century school sites located at 401 West Roan Avenue and 420 Church Avenue. Mr. Sayer.
I believe there's a brief presentation from Dan O'Callahan. I would recommend we take that first, and then I can do my summary.
Excellent. If Mr. O'Callahan can be promoted to panelist.
Will do.
There we go. Hi, good evening. My name is Dan O'Callahan. Thanks for the opportunity to address you this evening. First off, on behalf of the development team, I want to thank you once again for selecting us as your development partner on this important project. We're very excited about the opportunity and looking forward to working with the City of Verona as the project moves forward. We've had a very positive working relationship with your staff, and we've appreciated your feedback and your support at the various points along the way since our team was selected back in June. And since we've been at this for a little while, I thought I'd just quickly give a brief overview of the project and then update you on the timeline. So as you'll recall, the project that we're proposing consists of 3 basic projects, or 3 basic elements, I should say. There's the affordable housing component of our project being advanced by the Alexander Company. 100 units of affordable housing, where 85 of those units are made affordable to households in Dane County earning between 30% and 60% of county median income. Second, we've got the market rate component of the project, which is 132 units of housing and 10,000 square feet of retail space. And then importantly, there's the public element of the project, which is the public park and plaza and the historic New Century School. So just a quick update on the timeline. The key to making all of this project work is the affordable housing tax credits that are awarded by WHEDA. As you heard from the previous speaker, applications are due very soon. The deadline is Friday, although I heard just before the meeting that WHEDA is looking at extending that deadline by a few days because of some technical issues they were having. Nonetheless, we got to get this application filed in very short order, so we appreciate you making time for us tonight. Tax credits are the key to making this work, but we're going to have to wait for a decision from WHEDA. We won't hear until April if our project's been selected. So as far as the timeline is concerned, assuming that we are selected in April, and we're feeling optimistic about that, then we'll spend the second and third quarters of next year working through the design and permitting and approval process with you and with your staff. And after we complete that entitlement process, we'll be looking to close on the acquisition of the property in the fourth quarter. There'll be a groundbreaking shortly thereafter, and we're anticipating about 12 months of construction to clear the site, install the public improvements, and complete the first phase of development, which is the affordable housing component, which will hopefully come online late in 2022. And all the while, we'll continue to be advancing the market rate and mixed use part of the project. Construction on that will coincide with some portion of the construction on the affordable housing, and we should hopefully have substantial completion of the overall project in the second or third quarter of 2023. So there's a lot of work to be done, to do here, a lot that still needs to be done. Even though we've been at this for a few months now, we're still relatively early in the overall timeline. And that brings me to what's before you tonight. We're asking for your support tonight of this resolution R20-50, which deals with two issues. One, we're asking for your support of the tax increment financing that, along with the credits, the tax credits, will make the project financially feasible. And the second issue is simply the basic real estate purchase agreement. Adam's memo in your packet does a good job of summarizing the details there. I won't repeat any of that. However, I do want to emphasize that we've worked hard with city staff and your financial consultant to make sure that what is before you tonight is a proposal that's in line with the proposal we presented to the city initially back in April. It's about $8.8 million of developer-funded pay-as-you-go TIF. There's three components to it. There's $3.2 million plus interest for the public improvements and the park. There's $3 million to support the creation of the affordable housing with no interest on that component. And finally, $530,000 to support the retail component of the mixed-use project. And there again, no interest. And to underscore that point, I just want to make sure that it's clear that the only portion of the TIF that will receive interest or bear interest is the public portion. And even when we factor that interest in, the overall cost of the TIF is right in line with that $8.8 million figure we had projected in April. We're trying to ensure that we stay in line with that. If you're interested in all of the detailed analysis, there's a report from Ellers, your financial consultant, in the packet. So I won't go into any of those details. But that's, in a nutshell, the TIF proposal. So we're asking for your support of that, that term sheet. And then there's the real estate purchase agreement. And we're asking for you to approve these real estate purchase agreements now and to enter into them now. Because again, what's driving this for us is the WHEDA tax credit process. In order to apply, we need to demonstrate to WHEDA that we have site control, so we need to have this purchase agreement with the city. Even though there's still many months of work that we'll be engaged in with you at every step of the way, we need to have these agreements now for the application. As you'll see in the agreements, they're contingent on a lot of things happening. So this isn't the last opportunity for you to be involved in the process. It's quite.
Dan, you're having a bit
Sorry
of
about
a
that.
connection issue. Is it okay? I think I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. My kids must be getting online. Many opportunities to come back and update you and be involved with you at various points along the way. And one of those points may be next April, when WHEDA announces its decision on the tax credits. If our project is not selected, what the purchase agreement says is that there would be a period of time where we would work with the City of Verona to negotiate amendments to the scope of the project. We want you to know that we're committed Even if we're not selected in April, we're committed to finding a way to move forward with the project. So the purchase agreement provides a 90-day period where we would work together to try to find alternatives, find other ways forward. If we're successful in that, great, we'll move forward. If not, the purchase agreement would terminate, and if the city could choose to move in a different direction. So that's the quick overview of the purchase agreement. Again, we're really pleased to have been selected for this great opportunity. We thank you for that. We thank you for placing your trust in us. We want you to know that you can have a high level of confidence in us. We've got a good track record of success with our projects. So even though this is a very competitive process with WIDA, we think our team is well positioned to succeed, and we're asking for your support tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sayer.
Okay, thank you. So Steve Brown Apartments, the Alexander Company, who are the developers of this property, continue to work on the redevelopment of the former Sugar Creek New Century School site. As part of the redevelopment project, the developers are requesting $8,824,797, and that includes both principal and interest. In a pay-go TIF. The proposed TIF would subsidize the rents in the commercial portion of the project, provide an incentive for the affordable housing, and TIF for the public infrastructure improvements, including the interest. The proposed TIF request is consistent with the $8.8 million financing gap the developers identified to the city in June of 2020. The developers are requesting approval of the resolution prior to the December 11th WIDA tax application deadline, as the resolution will assist the developer's application. That deadline has been pushed to December 18th. So that did come up today, so Dan had mentioned that in his presentation. It did get pushed back a week. If tax credits are not awarded for this project, the TIF request and/or project will need modifications. The resolution also includes conditions that the pay-as-you-go TIF request is conditioned upon the city executing agreements with the developers. As part of the resolution, a real estate purchase and sale agreement is included as an exhibit. Items to note in the purchase and sale agreement include: the purchase price is $1. The sale is conditioned upon the buyer receiving WIDA tax credits that are acceptable to the buyer by April 30th of 2021. An operation and maintenance agreement for the property needs to be executed on or before July 1st of 2021, addressing the operation and maintenance costs incurred by the city on the property. The reason for that is that we initially did not anticipate having to hold this property as long, so we would need some type of agreement to assist with our kind of maintenance costs for all of 2021. If the tax credits are not awarded by WIDA, the buyer has until July 30th of 2021, the 90-day window that Dan referenced, to modify the scope of the project with the city. If agreement with the buyer and the city is not reached within 90 days, the purchase agreement will automatically terminate. And finally, if tax credits are awarded, the buyer will need to close the property no later than December 31st of 2021. The council has the ability to enter into closed session for this item. It has been noticed on the agenda properly. Staff is not providing a recommendation on this resolution at this time and would like the council to review the terms. Specifically, staff encourages the council to review the dates in the purchase agreement, including the 90-day provision and the December 31st, 2021 closing date. City Attorney Brian Kleinmeyer is also here tonight, and either one of us would be happy to answer any questions from the council. Brian, do you have anything to add?
I do not, no.
Okay.
All right. Questions, comments, or motions from the council? Alder Kemp.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R-20-050, addressing tax increment financing and real estate purchase and sale agreement for the redevelopment of Sugar Creek New Century School sites located at 401 West Verona Avenue and 420 Church Avenue.
With the conditions specified in the packet?
Yes, of course, with the conditions specified. Thank you, Mr.
Motion
Mayor.
by Kemp, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alder Poe. Alder Kemp? Anything to add? Alder Kemp?
No, nothing further here, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Motion before the body. Any questions or comments on the motion? Alder Posey.
Yeah, since it's been added in that 90-day and how long we're holding on to the property, I guess it's more of an operational question as far as how, since we hadn't planned to do it, are we maintaining, especially knowing it's a historic building for the Graded School New Century, to maintain that? Because I just don't want to see us back at the beginning in 2021 and then having to have a building that's kind of not maintained.
Mr. Sayre?
Yes, so we are in the process of purchasing the property from the district. We anticipate we'll close on that probably next week. As part of that, we've been looking at how do we kind of keep that building running without, causing any damage to it. So the plan as of today, and this plan has changed a couple times. The plan of today is to keep the heat on in the New Century building for the winter, keep that at a low temperature, keep the water kind of on there, just from a fire safety standpoint. But then the thought process is probably turning off the heat in the former Sugar Creek building, just because there's some significant maintenance costs with that building. That boiler is quite old and the water in it needs to be checked daily. So the plan right now is to making sure that New Century building, keeping the heat on, keeping the lights on, keeping everything kind of status quo. But then with Sugar Creek, kind of separating the two systems, which we can do pretty easily. And then, in essence, mothballing that and then using it just for training purposes now. And then potentially using that when the weather gets nicer, if there's a rec need and we're a little more out of the COVID issue, trying to potentially utilize some of that space for some of our rec programs as well. The whole point of that kind of operating and maintenance agreement is to cover just the cost that this could potentially push into December. This wasn't what we had initially anticipated. So obviously, there's going to be some grass cutting expenses for us. The big ones, the winter expenses of plowing snow out there. For this winter, we're fine. We can cover it, but to cover that for potentially two seasons creates some logistical and dollar challenges for us.
Mr. Kleinmeyer.
I just wanted to, note something and then ask a question. So the resolution is on pages 38 and 39 of your packet, and contained within the resolution paragraphs, it's noted that this is conditioned upon execution of the various agreements as we move forward. But I had heard I think Mayor Diaz, you might have said, are conditions included, and I guess all of the bullets that are in Adam's memo, those are built into the document itself already within the exhibits, and so there are not actually any additional conditions than what is contained in the document itself. And I just wanted to kind of note that.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. I have a follow-up question. So if the building's not being used, we have a plan for checking for Legionnaire's disease, because that can be an issue in buildings where the water isn't being run.
Yeah, we can look in. I guess that I have not looked into yet. The water in New Century we would most likely the water in Sugar Creek would most likely turn off and then blow the pipes out. So that wouldn't be an issue from that standpoint. But yeah, we'll figure out a plan for that. We'll talk to the health department if we need to. But in essence, for us, our purpose is the building would not be occupied. New Century would not be used. We don't have any intentions of putting any type of programming in there or anything. We, in essence, want to mothball the building until we turn the ownership over to the developer.
Alder Jordan.
So when does the purchase agreement become effective if it's approved?
Mr. Kleinmeyer.
The purchase agreement would be something that we would be executing right away with both the Alexander Company and the Steve Brown Apartments, for the reasons that Mr. O'Callahan had identified. It's relevant and important for purposes of the WIDA application that they would be making.
So that would not include the purchase of the school then? They would not be responsible for that?
No, the purchase agreement acknowledges that we don't own the school district property just yet. As Adam mentioned, that's going to happen in the future, but it notes the fact that we have a right to purchase it. And so I believe that essentially the way the document is prepared is assuming that the council approves the resolution tonight, and in doing so would approve the purchase agreements, the language in the purchase agreements is sufficient for the Alexander Company for purposes of their PETA application.
Alder Cronin.
In the event that they are not awarded the PETA tax credits, is there any concern that 90 days would not be long enough to renegotiate?
You want to take this, Adam, or you want me?
I can take it, then you can jump in if I misspeak. I mean, as staff, just to be clear, we had actually, when we talked to them initially, we had recommended 45 days. That was our initial recommendation. That would take us out to June 15th. There's nothing that prohibits us from extending that date, whether it's 45 or 90 days. I mean, if we're making progress with them and we like where things are going, we can mutually agree to keep working with them and extend that date out. So there's nothing that prohibits us from doing that. If we do put in the 90 days, or whether it's 90 days or 45 days, that's what we're going to be bound by. So I mean, if that's in there right now, as of now, they would have until July 30th to kind of pivot off of what their plans are and try to take another look at this. But I think you definitely have the ability to extend that. So there's no question about that.
Other questions or comments from the council? I'll just make a brief comment. I am a little disappointed that the timeline's not more aggressive, but with COVID and everything else that's happening, and plus, them applying to WIDA for the tax credits, I understand why it's on the timeline that it is. I do think there's a potential opportunity that if the pandemic kind of recedes a little bit, between the vaccines and everything else, that maybe it can function as kind of a public space, and it can be an opportunity for the city to kind of open up the area to the public. And I think that could be really valuable. Still like the project. I still think this is going to help develop the downtown that many people have asked us for, between places to shop, work, and live, and hopefully a very generous and nice public space, which will be on all of us to make sure that happens. So I think still like the project. Wish the timeline was a little bit more aggressive, but I understand because of the pandemic. But any other thoughts from the council? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of resolution number R-20-050, addressing tax increment financing and real estate purchase and sale agreement for the redevelopment of Sugar Creek / New Century School sites located at 401 West Verona Avenue and 420 Church Avenue, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. And that motion passes. Next, we will move on to item 6, new business, which is a discussion and possible action regarding a performance of a city employee. Mr. Sayer, Mr. Kleinmeyer, is it recommendation from staff to just move directly into closed session on this one?
Yeah, staff is requesting a closed session with the council to discuss the performance of a city hall employee. So I'd recommend that we go into closed session and have that conversation.
Thank you for that explanation. Motion, sorry.
And Mitch Wackerly, HR, will be joining us in closed session as well, too, just to note that.
So a motion to move into closed session would be in order. Alder Kemp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion regarding agenda item number 6A, performance of a city employee. The Common Council may convene in a closed session for discussion and permissible action regarding the performance of a city employee as authorized by section 19.85 sub 1 sub C of the Wisconsin statutes to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee to the jurisdiction or authority of the city of Verona, specifically the purposes of considering employment and performance of a city hall employee and the appointee of the council.
Motion by Alder Kemp, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Journey. This is, of course, a roll call vote. If Mr. Sayer would read the roll.
Excuse me, Alderperson Cole,
Aye.
Alderperson Cronin,
Aye.
Alderperson Ryan,
Aye.
Alderperson Journey,
Aye.
Alderperson Reekie,
Aye.
Alderperson Kemp,
Aye.
Alderperson Posey.
Aye.
And with that, we will move into closed session at 7:37 PM. It's either in your Outlook calendar or your email panels for closed session. I will see you guys in 30 seconds.
we lose Luke? Christine?
Weird.
Oh, here they are. Oh, no, Christine.
I don't know if you had anything else to say. I think all we need to do is kind of say that we discussed that issue, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting. I texted Luke to see where he's at. I wonder if he's having some problems. Said he's waiting.
Mm.
There we go, okay. I clicked the wrong link. I'm like, it sure is taking a long time. But I guess that was on me. So we are reconvening an open session at 8:30. Since it was a ongoing personnel issue, I don't think there's any comment in open session. And with that, we will move on to item 7, which is adjournment. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Motion by Alder Ricky, seconded by Alder Kemp. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? And we are adjourned at 8:30 PM. Thank you.